I'm saying them now because you might graduate and go to employment and you will not have had. People being impatient. Yeah? The quick fix. So you come today, in 6 months, 1 year, someone wants to be promoted. What have you learned in 1 year that warrants promotion? People are promoted to jobs they're already doing. Yeah? So if you're, for example, which course are you doing? Civil engineering. So maybe they have grades, civil engineer 1 and then 2 and 3. For you to move from grade 1 to 2, you need certain certain requirements, you know. Maybe you're going to do higher level responsibilities. Maybe you need another degree. Maybe you need a professional course. So you need to find out what is it that is required for that next level and how much time do I need to get there. Yes, you might be there, you might be ready earlier, but if the institution has regulations, then it's to follow the regulations and bidding your time. Run your race. Do not compare yourself too much with people in the institution because people are running different races. Even just in finance, you might all be finance officers, but somebody would want to go into program accounting, maybe managing some projects, another one financial accounting or other things. Salary expectations, be realistic. Be realistic. And when you are promoted and you get more money, do not change houses or schools unless it's necessary. It's not always. Remember we said relationship with money, right? Because there are people who then move school, move house, buy a bigger car or buy a car, you know, and the next day it's all gone. And then live within your means and don't follow money. Let money follow you. How does money follow you? By being 10 times better, which is really what we are talking about. Anything you do, be better at it. People will come looking for you. Have you heard of headhunting? Money will be following you. But when you start following money, sometimes you focus on the money and lose on the skills that you need to get that money. I would also like to say that every workforce is a multi-generational workforce. We are sitting here, we're in the same generation. But just remember, when you get there, you'll get those who are 60 years old. People retire at 60 in many institutions. And I think the change was also made by government. Where I am, we retire at 65. Those of you in the university, you know, professors, I think they retire at 70. Is there a lecturer here? But I think it's 70. And there are other organizations where there's no retirement. As long as you can prove that you can still function, you continue. So let's accommodate each other. That's what we are saying. In fact, Gen Z is only 5% of the workforce as we speak, but that is gonna grow. Now, I want to give you time to ask questions. We'll not talk about career growth. So in summary, I will just say, you need to ask yourself, what is it that you need to stop doing? Time wasters. I told you I used to sit under the tree. I know here, I didn't see a lot of that. But what do you do in your free time? Do not waste time. Do something. Don't idle. Don't be idle. Then what will you start? This is for you to answer. You can network, seek out mentorship, retool yourself. And remember, in life, we're talking about lifelong learning. It doesn't help to learn and not implement. My elder here was talking about that graph. There's a difference. You start together, people go separate ways. The difference is how people spend their time and in how they spend their time, how they action what they've learned. We all learn many things. There are people who will take action. There are those who will not take action. And if you don't take action, there's probably very little that will happen. And so in the world of work and in your career, remember to eat good food. Good is relative, right? Yeah. It should be nutritious. nutritious food, it affects how your mind works. Okay, good food. You need to exercise. It clears your mind. It helps you think. You need to be socially responsible, but also have friends. Most loners get depressed. And I'm not talking about being introverted. You can be an introvert, but you have friends, right? Have good interpersonal relationships. And always consult God. Even when you go to work, there will be challenges. You pray to God. There are times I'm walking into a meeting and I know this meeting today, there's going to be fireworks. And you just pray, and as it continues and things work. And sometimes you apply for these jobs, promotions, and you pray, and God will open up ways. There are those He will not grant. Maybe they were not even good for you. There are those He will grant. What is important is that we are seeking God to help us. So I would like to stop there. There's a lot to talk about careers, and just allow you some time. We have 8 minutes. Any question?
Allow me to stand. My name is Hesbon Mwanza. I am currently a third-year student pursuing human resource. And in line with that, you will understand I have quite a few things to ask, but I'll try to minimize them. My first question is, as an HR, we understand one of our priorities is to ensure that there's low turnover in an organization. And in line with that, as HRs, there are a few, I like to call them dark arts that we do. And one of those things is to form mandates. And one of them, it's a man with a family. Now, a man with a family offers you job security. So when I'm looking at who am I employing, I'll be more inclined to employ a man with a family rather than a man without a family. Another thing will be a man with debt, because he has to service that loan. So I'll be more inclined to hire this person because I'm sure he was not going to leave the organization at any particular moment. So there are these sort of things that as HRs, yes, perhaps we might not articulate them well, but we really do consider them. So if you look at the aggregate effect of all of these things, they affect us young people. Because now it's very hard for you to employ a young person, and their competencies are not perhaps as much, and the tethers that you can tie them to the organization, they're not that many. So as a young person, what is that outstanding capability or competence that you can have that will make this HR not ignore you when you reach there and you have a person with 3 years experience, a person with a family, a young lady with a kid? What is that will make you actually stand out? That's the first question. The second question is, in our field, right now, currently, one of the hardest things you can ever face is sexual harassment. And in line with that, I have read the Employment Act, Article 27, and the Constitution really leaves us very at a wanting position, because it gives us a guideline, but it really doesn't tell us how to investigate even this matter. So let's say as a HR, I'm faced with sexual harassment. How am I supposed to go about it? Because I have the complaint has to be registered within 2 working days. Investigations have to be launched and concluded within 10 working days. So I have a lot of thresholds to work within, but I really don't know how to work with it, and it is not spoken. Even here as we study, we're not taught that. Finally, I'll just conclude here. Section 5 of the Employment Act speaks about discrimination. Discrimination on race, sexuality, sexual orientation, tribe, all of these things. And as HRs, we are supposed to have a merit-based decision making, whereby I am selecting the best candidate. And in order for me to select the best candidate, I have to actually consider other factors. Factors such as geographical location of my organization. If my organization is in Luo Nyanza, of course, I will have more employees that are Luos than more employees that are, let's say, Kikuyus. So is that discriminatory? And as HR, how am I supposed to vis-a-vis those two facts, that I have merit, yes, in terms of my employment, but I am not discriminating, whereby there's a marginalized community that is underrepresented in my organization. And then also in terms of that discrimination, how am I supposed to handle sexual orientation, considering that I'm a Christian, yes, and the organization has its own values and cultures, but again, I can't discriminate based on sex because the constitution is really much against it, and I will be caught against that. So yeah, those are my 3 questions. Thank you.
Thank you. They sound like 20. So I'll try. If I forget any, I was writing slower than you were speaking. So if I forget any, please, what was your name again? Hesbon. Thank you, Hesbon. So maybe I'll start from the CV. I'll go back to the CV because you're talking about how to stand out, right? So you only stand out first. It starts from your CV, because before you come and stand out at the interview, your CV has to stand out. If I'm given, and I don't do long listing, so I'll just give you the practical example. I do short listing, not long listing. And I do short listing for certain levels because now the unit has expanded. If we have 6,000 applications, as I said, that was internship. Of course, for a regular job, it will be less. One thing that is coming up right now is even AI is beginning to support in shortlisting. So how have you written your CV? What is required in the advert has to stand out. What have I asked for as an employer? So what the employer has asked for should stand out in the advert. But remember, integrity. Do not put things you have not done, because you'll come to the interview and either you'll be embarrassed or somebody will have coached you, you'll pass, but you won't be able to do the job. So the CV has to stand out. Now, the employer who is preferring the married man is already an employer that should be, I don't want to use the word sued, but that is not an employer you even want to work for, because we are not supposed to discriminate. So in the same vein, and it's just because we didn't go deep into CVs, I always tell people, don't write your age. How old am I, for example? 60. Okay, 60.